Hello, it's Martin from Wisely Automotive, and in this video we are in the lovely British countryside in Combe, iconic track here in the UK. And as you can hear, other than a couple of lawnmowers, it's pretty quiet around us, and that's because we are on an EV track day. If you are an OG subscriber, you will probably remember we went to Wales for the first EV track day in the UK. At that time we took a slightly modified BMW i3 just for the fun of it, but this time around we are taking it a bit more seriously, and we are here with the Tesla Model 3 Performance with a couple of modifications which we will discuss further in the video. But I think that's enough talking, let's get started. So we are ready to go out. Arthur is in the driver's seat. We will discuss the specific settings like track mode and so on later on. The track is still quite wet.
Yeah, luckily I don't think there's any rain coming, so as long as it dries out, it should be a good day. Settings wise, there's still quite a lot of puddle. We just did a sighting lap and there's still quite a lot of puddles and stuff. Now I'm wondering if those are going to struggle to dry out, because usually on a track day the engine, the hot engines dry that out quite quick, but we'll see what happens. There's a lot of wind, which helps as well. Settings wise, we're just going to keep it easy now. I'm not going into track mode or anything. We'll do that later once we've got some heat into the tyres and the track's dry. So I think just sport and sport.
Given the awkward silence and lack of engine noise, let's add some elevator music into the background, because that will definitely make the 6 laps more exciting. On a serious note, it probably doesn't come across well on camera, but when we pass this red i3S, you can really see the massive difference in power.
Well, given we're not even in track mode or anything yet, I think that went surprisingly well. I remember taking a Model 3 round Donington, and I don't know, I couldn't sort of gel with it, whereas this feels good, and the turn-in's brilliant. So yeah, no, very impressed. Bit of brake fade, but it got to a certain point and then kind of stayed there. So we'll need to monitor that as our kind of track lap times improve. And also we're now going to go into track mode and explore that, having no experience with it at all, but we'll see what that's all about. But we just turned it on coming off to improve the cooling, and I was expecting to see this really red, but nothing at all, and still pretty good battery life. We've definitely got enough left for one more session.
If we go back into settings and pedals and steering, you can customize track mode.
Okay.
So now it's on Tesla's default racing preset, where it gives you neutral handling balance between the front and rear.
Fine. And
0 stability assist, which still is kind of detuned compared to normal driving, but it's not fully off.
Okay.
And regen braking is on full. It should feel stronger than just your normal regen braking. So
right.
It's going to go even more aggressive with that.
Okay, that might help with the brake fade as well. Put less pressure on the brakes.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, fine.
If you want to, then we can do a new profile, and we can say Arthur for this one.
Okay.
And you can now, then you can play with the sliders. Right. Even when you do the kind of rear or front bias, it really is, it's a handling bias. So if you're pulling out of a corner, it will still put power down using both motors. It changes the characteristics of the car.
Okay.
And once you kind of get more confident, we can dial back the stability assist. But we are not drifting. We are trying to do speed.
Absolutely.
So in fact, that's I think it can stay as it is.
Do you know outside of track mode what the handling balance is? Is it 50-50 or?
I think it has a slight kind of bias for rear-wheel drive. Obviously, we have got a more powerful motor on the rear, and it's trying to be sporty.
I've only ever been round here in rear-wheel drive cars, so let's do a tiny bit of a rear-wheel bias. We don't know what we've just experienced, so that's okay. What about timing laps? Is that possible?
Yes. So now that the settings are dialed in, when we go back here, we can go on the map. So do you know roughly where the start line is?
So it's basically here.
So you can.
It doesn't matter. It's
press and hold. and that's going to do that.
Okay.
And I think when we press start, when we get out of the pits, then it should automatically track the laps
Okay.
and so on.
Cool. We're going to try and get some lap times. We've got some heat in the tyres.
Yes.
The brakes, we're not so sure yet, but they seem okay. And yeah, let's do the next session.
Also important, so obviously it will show you the temperatures of all the drivetrain components. So far it's all happy with everything.
Yeah.
It will show you temperatures of brakes, and important, it's not showing tire temperatures. So blue just means it has grip.
Yeah.
And if they start going yellow or red, it means it's starting to lose grip according to the kind of car's computers. But you know, it's often misunderstood that. But yeah, just pressures only.
Fine. You've just reminded me. Obviously, we're way over now. We've got some heat, so I'm going to lower those. Rookie error. We'll go down to about. It's heavy, so I can't go as low as I usually do. But also they're not fully up to temperature yet. Usually the air burns my fingers, so I'm going to go for 36, and then that gives me room to introduce a bit more heat, which obviously will get the pressure up. So, because the factory setting for these is 42, I think. Is that right,
it's definitely for efficiency rather than performance.
But also you don't want to go to, you know, in the M3 I can go sort of sub 30 psi at temperature, but it's a lighter car, and you know you don't want to debead the tire or anything. So I think that let's play it safe for now. If I feel that we can gain some time, then we'll lower them again. And actually, while we're here, I should talk about the tyres. So we took the decision to fit some Cup 2 tyres for this day. It's slight overkill. If the conditions stayed like this throughout the whole day, then you'd probably rather be on PS4s. But I think it's going to dry out, and I'd like to get a good lap time. So yeah, we've done the basics. We've done the tyres, and we've also fitted the brakes. So just pads.
No brake fluids.
We haven't changed the brake fluid, and that was a bit of we kind of ummed and ahed about that. To be brutally honest, we ran out of time. So we're just got the stock fluid, but we will, once after this day, we're going to flush the system anyways. While we're talking about it, a big thank you to Tevo Solutions, who are a fantastic company that support Teslas in terms of kind of modifications and track use. Thank you, because I think they shipped those out to us on Friday and they arrived first thing Monday. Otherwise, this wouldn't have been possible. So yeah,
they are the ones who actually organised the first EV track day in the UK, which we went to about 2 years ago.
That's correct. Yeah, that's them. So yeah, thank you. And so far so good. It's the Carbo Tech pads. I'll do the rears and then we'll get back out. Does it still remember? Yeah.
Yes, it seems
and
to.
what about the settings?
If you do customize,
After.
yeah, it's in your setting.
Okay. Okay, so with the last of the fast Model 3 performances out the way, I'm just going to talk you through a lap here at Castle Combe. So we're coming down Dean Straight and about to enter Camp Corner, which is the last corner before the pit straight. So in we go. It's kind of like a double apex. You have to hit the second one here and then just wash out onto the rumble strip. You can go more, but we don't want to take any risks today. And now up, this is Folly, which is very, very fast, and we're going up to about 120. You can almost go up to 130 here. I don't want to take any particular risks because we're about to go over Avon Rise, which is a very sort of unsettled kind of crest, and it sets you up for Quarry, which is here, one of the most crashed corners in the UK apparently, but luckily we get through it. We wash out nicely, and now we're setting ourselves up along the farm straight into the S's, which is just a sort of typical chicane setup, nothing really much to it. You just got to try and get through it, avoid the back end kicking out here, and now like another double apex kind of situation. You can miss that second one because you want to wash out here, all depends on what line you're going for. And now
we go down, hammer down to Tower, which is my favourite corner here. You can brake quite late, but the trick is to turn in early because you want to kiss that cone just there, that apex, and there's a bit of a camber and it really sort of hugs you and takes you over. Through bobbies here, not much to it. We wash out, no need to get across to the left, you can stick right, and now we go back down the Dean Straight to complete the lap. So we're just coming up to Camp Corner, I think probably the fastest corner. Just here again, that double apex, kissing the second one, washing out just ever so slightly onto the rumble strip, and that's a full lap.
Okay, we're going to cool down now.
How are the brakes?
Yeah, they're fine. They're I think they're bedded in now, and what I'm experiencing now is, you know, what I'll get.
Oh, yeah.
What's happened there?
I think our left autopilot camera died.
So what was the best time? 1:22?
Yeah.
Christ, that's terrible.
What were you expecting?
In the 10s. But
Really?
there's still room to get there. To be fair, we only had one clean lap.
Yeah. And you have got ballast on board.
Oh, it wasn't the last lap?
No.
Oh. And obviously now we've got less fuel,
Yes.
it'll be faster. Oh, the regen's quite strong, yeah. So because the brakes went a dark green for
Yes.
a moment.
Yeah, but I think it's happy now.
Okay. I'm very surprised that the second lap was the quick one.
Yep.
Because
Because there was some traffic.
there was traffic. So what did I do different on that one? Second session complete? No, third session.
Well, the first one was hardly a session.
Oh, right,
It was
okay.
the kind of...
So that's only our set. I'm just looking at that state of charge and I'm thinking we've been out 3 times. But no, you're right, only twice. So yeah, really good session. We've started getting some lap time. So I've got a 1:22, which was on the second lap where we had some traffic. And I thought the third or the fourth lap was fastest. So bit of room for improvement. If we can get under the 120s, I'll be very happy. But yeah, so far, sort of my main kind of takeaway is how robust the car is. You know, I know we're only doing sort of 5-6 laps or 4-5 laps at a time, but temperatures are all cool. I think the brake, this one shows the brakes, Martin.
Yes,
is it?
the inside is the brakes.
So those ones went dark green for a moment and then quickly cooled down. We did a cool down lap on that last session, which I think is important. But
we can talk about how this works a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because basically you can still hear the air conditioning compressor running quite strongly.
I can, yeah.
That's cooling the battery, because in track mode, unlike in normal mode, it pre-cools the battery, so it drops the temperature below optimal.
Mm-hmm.
And if the motors get hot, it tries to divert some of the heat into the pre-cooled battery, because it's a large thermal mass.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make that much of a difference to the battery, but it can even out those peaks
Yeah.
in the motor. So it's very clever about how it kind of runs behind the scenes. But as you said, you know, to you as a driver, it's kind of completely transparent, and it's just a car which works decently on the track.
Yeah, but every little bit helps, and if the ability to do it is there, why not create a mode that does it? So yeah, I think the first session not being in track mode was a bit wasted, but we were just sort of getting our bearings. Will we be able to squeeze one more session in before we have to go charge, do you think? I reckon we need probably about 15% to get to the charger.
I think we should be able to do a couple of laps, but if you are after time, I think the higher the state of charge, the more peak power you get. So if you want everything,
right,
yeah,
okay, fine.
we can go and charge.
All right. Well, we'll go out once more, just to sort of cement what we've achieved so far, and then we'll go charge. And is it a bit early for lunch? Yeah, it is. So how many charges are we gonna have to do?
Quite a few. We can with the next session we can start tracking efficiency to see how terrible it gets and how much it's going to cost. But even on that, we may have some updates about how much this is going to cost. It may be a fantastic deal.
Someone is doing us a favour.
Well, we have an unknown sponsor.
Thank you, Angela. Angela. Well, potentially, we'll see soon. It's weird not having to think about. Well, actually, it's
shifting.
Yeah, and to be honest, I haven't thought about it until just then.
Nothing particularly exciting happens in this session, and to try to keep this video to a reasonable length, we will fast forward through most of it. Although a special shout out to the driver of this EQS for absolutely throwing it round. Given it weighs nearly 3 tonnes with sort of passengers and everything on board, it was very impressive to watch and follow.
Arthur helping out fellow i3 drivers.
A known issue.
We have let the car cool down a bit. I believe the state of charge is below 20% now, so it's officially time to charge.
Okay.
With these V3 superchargers, it seems to be taking a while to kind of fully ramp up the speed, but it has settled at about 200 kilowatts of charging power. So definitely not bad. We will probably stay for a full 100% charge in this case, unless it gets too busy and we are just blocking people, because if we are in no rush, we will have some food, review the footage and head back to the track.
Earlier in the video we hinted that all our charging might be free today, and the reason for this is a little bit convoluted, but I'll try and explain it as sort of quickly as I can.
Here Arthur proceeds to explain the entire situation, not quickly at all, but don't worry, his full rant will be published as a separate video in the very near future, so make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss that. Back on the track and off he goes for a clean lap without me this time around, so with 65 kilos less of ballast, hopefully can shave off a second or two.
First session after our lunch break, and we're back with 83% state of charge. Really dry now, really good temperature. The tyres will be cold, so I just need a few laps to warm all that up. But yeah, hopefully with all those improvements, a pretty full battery and also no passenger, I'm hoping to get as close to 120 as I can.
I stayed out for 6 laps on this session, an in lap, 4 flying laps and then an out lap, and the second lap actually ended up being my fastest of the day, so here it is in full, just about to cross the start finish line now. So you can see I got up to about 121 here, which isn't the fastest I've gone, and I was on the brakes a bit earlier than I would like to have been. Also didn't quite kiss that apex there, nor did I run out as much as I could have there. So yeah, it was all in all just quite a weird lap because I left a lot of gaps and I wouldn't have bet on it being the fastest, but that's sometimes how it is. But anyway, this was all really composed. This here went really well. Coming up to Tower, nothing went too wrong. I was really late on the brakes, which probably made up a little bit of time, and right in there, sort of tyre almost on the rumble strip. Through bobbies, washing right out on this occasion, and yeah, that was it. Down the Dean Straight. So yeah, that was a 1 minute 20-second lap, and now we'll just fast forward a bit and get up to this traffic here, which is all Model 3s, certainly the most well represented car of the day. But yeah, we'll just get through. I think there's 2 cars that we just need to get past, and then it turned into a bit of a scrap between us and another white Model 3 Performance, which is the one that you can see ahead of me now. A good little battle, and to be fair, really impressive seeing the Model 3 being sort of thrown around and sort of dancing through, especially bobbies and the S's. Enjoyed it a lot, and to be fair, I think if they didn't have roof bars on, they probably would have got away.
That was a good session. So let me show you. The battery had gone completely red, so probably the sort of hardest session so far, but equally sort of kept going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 laps plus the in lap. So yeah, but almost under 120. I'm really pleased I did 120, but it would be really nice to get that under. Hopefully still got enough state of charge to kind of be able to do that. But I'm just going to lower the pressures a touch. On that session, the track mode I tweaked a bit, so I brought the stability down a bit just to see if maybe it's sort of applying brakes in the wrong places, and it's helped a bit. The car definitely moved around more. The white Tesla Model 3 Performance that I was up against was really moving around on track a bit more, and sort of trail braking and things like that. So maybe there's scope to go a bit further with reducing that, but yeah, I don't know if I'm brave enough. But yeah, so far really good. I'm pleased with the 120, and yeah, I'm gonna, I think, head straight out and see how the temperatures hold up. Okay, here we go.
No traffic at all in this session, which meant for 3 very consistent laps and 3 very consistent lap times. I had one slightly hairy moment coming out of the S's, which I'm sure Martin will overlay now. There you go, but otherwise okay. After 3 laps, the battery temperature did get red again, and to be fair, in general, I just got a bit bored with no one else out, so we came in.
As you saw, unfortunately not much success getting under 1 minute 20, but I'm going to call it a day in terms of chasing that. So we've got about 32% state of charge left, so enough to go out with Martin back in the car for maybe 4 or 5 more laps, just fun laps. And yeah, tyre wise, the Cup 2s have been doing really well. As feared, the near side front's the one to watch, and we've got a bit of wear on this sort of first block. So it's a lot sort of lower here than it is here, which is usual for a right-handed circuit. But the place we need to watch is just this edge here, because we're leaning on that so much, and the rear is actually kind of doing the same thing. But I think we're maybe 7 or 8 laps away from delamination forming. So yeah, we want to monitor that, because at this stage we're at a point where we can still just about, next time we use these tyres, fit them the other way around and get a whole nother one more sort of track day out of them. So yeah, whereas as soon as they delaminate, we've got to get another tyre.
I'll take this opportunity to summarise my feelings about the Model 3 on track. I found it to be a very balanced and robust car, and I was honestly pleasantly surprised to see how far Tesla have come just in the last few years. The latest version of the track mode gives you the ability to customise the stability control, which is a must if you're chasing lap times. Likewise, the improved cooling was vital and meant we could keep going and going. Even if I ran into some thermal power limitation, it disappeared in a matter of seconds, which was very different when we took the i3 round Landau. Oddly, my only major complaint was with the seats. I'm usually a huge advocate of the squishy lounge chair type seats in the Model 3s and Ys, but throwing the car through its paces like this really calls for some sportier bucket style seats, or at least some adjustable side bolsters. All things considered though, the Model 3 makes a great entry-level track car, which you can enjoy day to day as well. Second-hand examples, a bit like this one, still in warranty and with average mileage, are usually available for around 30 grand. And with the fantastic aftermarket support from companies like Tevo Solutions, you can set them up exactly to your liking with more serious modifications compared to what we have done, like swapping springs, dampers, big brake kits, body kits, etc. If you want to keep it simple though, it's really quite capable just as it is, although like we've done, we would really recommend changing the brakes, because the brakes are working hard because of the weight of the car. If Tesla isn't your thing, but you still want an EV which you can occasionally take to track, rest assured there are other choices. If you've got deep pockets, there's always the Porsche Taycan, which in our opinion at the moment is the ultimate EV track car. Car choice aside though, days like today prove that EVs on track are only going to become more common, and it's great to see support growing. Again, a shout out to Tevo Solutions, and also a big thank you to the Tesla Owners UK group for organising this event. Hopefully they'll have many more to come.
What a fun day that was. The car is at 10% battery life, so it's definitely the last session of the day. We are just going to drive to the Supercharger again to top it up for the journey home. The Model 3 is definitely a capable track vehicle. Is it the best out there? No. Is there room for improvement? Yes, but it definitely proves that there is potential in electric cars and that you can still have fun with them. You have to keep in mind this is basically a brand new company's third attempt at a car. So for it to be able to do this is absolutely amazing, and just imagine what it will be able to do in 10-15 years time. DC rapid chargers on site would definitely come in handy to avoid having to do the detours for charging. There is no technical reason why those things couldn't happen, so we are very hopeful that the future of EVs is bright. And on that positive message, thank you very much for watching. Stay subscribed if you want more EV content, and see you in the next one.